Okay, we need to start adding and subtracting our decimals, which is pretty easy. Basically, all we need to do is line up our decimal points like we did with our commas in our whole numbers. Remember, we line up commas? Same thing with the decimal point. If we line up our decimal point, all of our place values are lined up together, and then we can just subtract our, each place value like we normally do. We can also show it in a picture using our decimal grids. So we're thinking about how we can use a single hundredths grid to add the two numbers of 64 hundredths and 29 hundredths. And as you can see, I shaded in this grid down here. Since we're talking about hundredths, I like to use a hundredth grid to show my addition. So 64 is represented here in yellow. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths, because each column is 10 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each column represents 10 of my hundredths, and I need 6 tenths. So I shaded in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the columns, so that's my 60 or 6 tenths. And then I shaded in another 4 boxes, which gives me my 4 hundredths. So there's my 64 hundredths. Then I shaded in green the 29 hundredths. Since I'm adding, I'm putting everything together in one grid, trying to make wholes. So I should have 2 tenths according to the place value in the numbers. So I have 2 columns shaded in, and then another 9 hundredths should also be shaded in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which is what I did. Shade part of the grid to show 64 hundredths and the other part to show 29 hundredths. Why do we refer to the squares as hundredths? Because there are 100 of them broken into equal parts, right, to make the whole. So hundredths refer to less than one whole, and it represents part of a whole. When we add 64 hundredths to 29 hundredths, our sum is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 whole tenths are colored in, and then another 3 hundredths. Remember, each square is 1/100th, so we should have 93 hundredths colored in, or that's our sum and answer. How are we going to write 93 hundredths as a fraction? We just put 93 over 100. It's pretty easy. Just the way you say it is the way it looks. And then how can we use our hundredths grid to subtract our two numbers? You always shade in your larger number, which is our 63 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the yellow. And then subtracting, we're going to have to take away from the yellow. So instead of adding to it and adding more colors, we're going to take away colors. So if we're going to subtract 29 hundredths, that means I need to get rid of 2 tenths. So I'm going to cross these hundredths out, and then I'm going to get rid of 9 hundredths, 29 hundredths, which should leave me with 1, 2, 3 whole tenths, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there was 1 left over here, which would be 35 hundredths. Okay, so I'm going to shade in to show my 64 hundredths, and then I'm going to remove 29 hundredths by crossing out. I should get 35 hundredths when I do my subtraction, which I did. Shown right there again. I put my 64 hundredths. We take the largest number, shade it in, and then we cross out what we're taking away, which I did here, which leaves me again with my 1, 2, 3 full tenths, and 5 hundredths are left over. 35 hundredths written as a fraction is just 35 over 100, exactly the way we say it. So adding and subtracting decimal numbers is like adding and subtracting whole numbers, because we're combining the numbers when we add them, and then we're removing numbers or finding the difference when we subtract the numbers, just like in whole numbers. So really there's no difference between adding and subtracting whole numbers and adding and subtracting decimals. Either way, we have to consider the value of each digit by thinking about what place that digit is in.